Khoa Bui. Hello and welcome to Talking Trading.
Thanks very much. I really appreciate being here. Thank you.
It's wonderful to have you. Khoa, let's talk about how you started your journey of personal development and you be relentless.
All
It's a
right.
good story.
All right. Thanks. Okay. So I pretty much, it all went down to in my mid 20s. I was a software developer at the time, and I was just working in a company. And I remember the boss, he just walked in one day and he just, he just came in and just said hello to everyone. And I don't know why, but that event just really inspired me to start my own business. So anyway, I quit that job and then I started my first business in web design and development. And then from that point, I just remember I was just reading tons and tons of books on how to start a successful business, how to
How old
market.
were you at this point?
I think I was about 24 at the time.
Yeah,
So
young.
yeah, I thought, I better start young and then build up a lot of experience. So I'm pretty futuristic thinking. I'm always thinking of the future and trying to, just add to the future, I guess. So yeah, I was just surrounding myself with tons and tons of books on personal development, just like what you've read. I think it's The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. That's a really powerful
Yes.
book. That was one of the first books that I read, and that just really changed my way of thinking. So yeah, I just surround myself with lots of mentors. I listen to a lot of audio CDs. Whenever I'm at the gym, walking around the lake, or driving to work, whatever it is, I just keep listening to personal development. And then over time, what I did was I became really inspired to chase after my goals because of all this knowledge that I was learning. It really changed my way of thinking. So then I set goals such as traveling around the world, writing books, and also just creating events and everything. I'm a bit crazy like that. So and then I started first of all I started a website. It was actually called Secrets Entrepreneur. And this website was all about marketing and entrepreneurship. So every single day, I just kept writing content to that site. And then eventually, I think about 6 or 7 months, the traffic just took off. It went from 0 to about 400. And then that's when the idea came about that you can actually build a powerful high traffic website through blogging and creating content. And then a few years later, I decided to start another one, which is You Be Relentless. And then I took all the concepts that I learned from that website, Secrets Entrepreneur, and then reinvested it into You Be Relentless. And now I'm just putting a lot of great content out there, featuring successful people and what they're doing. And and the traffic's just, building up as well. So that's pretty much how the whole concept of You Be Relentless came about. It just came from adversity to, inspiration and motivation. So yeah.
Let's talk about the psyche of success and the mindset of success
hmm
and major lessons that you learnt from Darren Hardy.
Yeah, that's a good question. So I would say the biggest thing that I learnt is definitely the compound effect from Darren Hardy, because from all of my research and study, I found that success, it's really not just one big jump towards something. It's really the small little things that you do every single day that accumulates that you achieve success. So for example, if you want to lose weight, you have to really go to the gym. Even though it's boring, you don't want to do it, but if you do that consistently over time, you will lose weight. If you make the choice of not ordering a burger and fries, and you just make the choice of having a salad instead, all those little choices add up, and therefore it adds up to your waistline, your wallet, and your relationships. It's not just with money. It's also with relationships. If you're not paying attention, to your girlfriend or your wife, then over time that adds up, and therefore she's going to leave you for someone else, right? So it's the compound effect.
You're not emotionally available.
I'm yes, I'm not emotionally available. Someone once said emotionally available, physically available, but that's a different podcast. So yeah.
Let's talk about the weekly rhythm register.
Yeah,
What's that?
yeah. This is I've been doing this for, I think, nearly a couple of years so far. So this is going back to the compound effect. It's all about doing the little steps every single day that goes towards your big three goals. So the weekly rhythm register, it's a spreadsheet that you use to track all these little activities that you do towards those big three goals. So let's say that you want to lose weight, get your abs, or get a six pack. Well, find out what's the 2 or 3 things that you need to do every single day that will help you get to that will help you do that, and then you track it. So for my weekly rhythm register, what I've got is I make sure I do my insanity workouts. So that's this home workout where I do plyometrics. I also count my calories, make sure it's under 2,000 calories. It's really crazy. And then those are my 2 activities that I do every single day. So I make sure at the end of the day I do those 2 activities and I tick it off. And then I make sure that I hit my quota, which is 5 times a week. And then I know that over time, maybe about 6 months, 12 months, then I'll be able to lose the weight and so forth. So that applies to also business as well. If you're building, or if you're building an online website, then my 2 key vitals is to write content every day and also to keep publishing videos as well. And then over time, it just adds up. So you can take the weekly rhythm register and you can put it towards any goal that you want. It could be saving money. It could be building a more loving and deep relationship with your girlfriend or your husband. And you do these things every single day consistently. And then over time, it just accumulates, and then you'll be in a completely different spot in 2 years' time, 3 years' time, whatever it is. So that's pretty much the weekly rhythm register. It's all about tracking your progress and then going after it. So and being consistent, being very consistent.
Consistency, that's a key to successful people, isn't it? Let's talk about the insane productivity and mastery.
Yeah, that was a course that was released by Darren Hardy once again. He interviewed so many Fortune 500 companies or these powerful executive CEOs, and he found that it wasn't that they were working 10 times harder than you or they were 10 times smarter than you. They just did the key things that was most important in their lives, and they just did it over and over again. And pretty much insane productivity is all about figuring out the key things that you need to do every single day, and then you just work it. You put it into a plan, and you just stay consistent. And it's all about energy as well. You work on increasing your energy. You eat good foods. You surround yourself with positive people, and you remove toxins as well. So he's got this really powerful analogy where, take for example, if you want to become like a more positive, motivated person, let's say that you've got an empty glass of water, and you just pour some Coke in it. So you fill up the glass and it's filled with Coke. So imagine that Coke is just full of negativity, pain, rejection, sadness, all that stuff. In order to get rid of that Coke, you have to pour in clear liquid, which is all the positive stuff, and just keep pouring it until all the black stuff goes away. So that's what you do, is you just got to keep training your mind just to be more positive and, keep learning from all these great people. And then eventually, you become more productive and you get a lot of stuff done. And it's just amazing. You just keep doing all these things over and over again. And then the compound effect takes over, and then you're more productive. So, yeah.
What's Darren Hardy's book called?
It's called The Compound Effect. So he's got The Compound Effect, and he's got another entrepreneurship book, Join the Ride, and that's all about starting a business and just facing your fears and going after it. So, but The Compound Effect is one of my favorite books. That's highly recommended. Yeah.
Let's talk about some of your guests now that you have on your show, because you speak to a lot of people. Andrew Farabee, what did you learn from him? Founder of Knowledge for Men.
Yeah.
Confidence and inner strength. That's very manly.
Yeah, it's very manly. So his story is that he went through a bad breakup, and I think he was dumped.
Ouch.
Yeah. It's never pain. It's never a good feeling, right? And so he went through a breakup, and then he ended up being broke, and he was living on a couch with his brother, and he was in a lot of debt and everything. And then he started reading lots of books on personal development. You can see a pattern there. And he learned a lot about himself, how to build confidence, and and how to also approach women as well. So it was a lot about teaching guys how to man up and then go after women, approach them, and just own who you are. And because
important when you're young. This is really important stuff.
It is. I think it's also important later on, because a lot of people, you don't really, a lot of guys don't go through this ritual of, becoming a man, I guess. You just leave school and just go get a job, and then you just skip the whole thing. It's like the movie 300, that the Spartan warriors go through a ritual where they become, stronger, and they have to go out there, fight these tigers and everything, and therefore they become a strong Spartan man. So I think that's what's missing in today's society is that ritual.
Where are those tigers? They should be here in the city.
Should be here in the city. Let's go get them.
The Aboriginals also get the men to do the boys to do a walkabout.
A walkabout
to initiate them into manhood.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So,
All right, let's talk about Aaron Torres, Wealth
Torres.
Management CEO.
Yeah, he's based in Beverly Hills. So I found him. I was just on Instagram and I followed Ty Lopez. I'm pretty sure you've seen him around. He's a very successful guy in California, and basically I came across Adam Torres. He is the founder of Wealth International, and he's written a book called Money Matters. And I interviewed him. I called him up, interviewed him, and asked him, what's the key thing to make for people to become more successful? What's the key takeaway if there's one thing that you've learnt? And the thing is, he said that cash flow is key. It's cash flow. And I completely agree with that. It's all about, if you're earning a certain income, you have to look at the net cash flow that you're getting when you minus all your expenses. So let's say for example, you're earning $1,000 per month. For simplicity's sake, you're getting $1,000, but your expenses is $700 per month. So that means you have $300 left over. That's your cash flow. You have to always make sure that your cash flow is always increasing, because as soon as it decreases, then you can't save, you can't invest, you're always just above the water. So you have to look for income streams, you have to reduce your expenses and increase that cash flow. This goes into the book by Rich Dad Poor Dad. Robert Kiyosaki, he talks about this in his cash flow quadrant and also in his board game Cash Flow 101. And if you played the game, I'm sure you've played the game, and it teaches you to manage your finances and make sure that cash flow is very healthy, because it gives you a buffer, and you're always protected against, if you get fired from your job or you lose a lot of clients, you always have that cash flow to back you up. You always have that surplus of cash.
Let's talk about Ryan Suman, hardcore closer.
Yeah, that was a interesting interview. So Ryan Suman, he's based in Texas, and he was actually arrested because he was I think he owned some guns, and then he was arrested. So he was in prison for a few years, and then after when he was released, he decided to clean up his act and everything, and then he got into sales. So he was selling mortgage insurance, and he became really good. He was an awesome salesman, and he sold so much. And then he went from pretty much cell block to penthouse. And the key takeaway that I got from that is that selling is really key. You can actually make so much money from selling if you get really good at it. And there's actually two parts of earning money through selling. There's a sales part, and then there's a closing part. So a lot of salespeople, when they sell, they're just presenting and they're just showing, okay, here's the benefits of the product. But when you're closing, it's a huge different phase there, where you have to say the words in a way where they will actually sign the dotted line. So that was a big thing that I learned from Ryan Suman. He's a great guy, and he's also a hustler. That guy is a machine. He can work so long. So that's the one there.
Marnie Kinnery, Wing Girl method.
Yep. So she was one of the first people I interviewed. She's also based in California, and this is delving into the relationships area. So I'm always reading about everything. I like relationships, health, and finances. And so Marnie Kinnery, I saw her on YouTube, and what she does is she helps guys, understand women a lot better and how they think, and how you build confidence, and also how you approach women. So I interviewed her, and we were just talking a lot about the types of guys that women want, and how you dress, all that cool stuff in dating. And she said that in order to become more attractive to women, it's not about it's not about how much money you have. It's all about owning who you are and becoming more confident. And confidence is a result of having lots of resources in it as well, because women are attracted to men who can bring them closer to resources. That's what she said. So confidence is a really good indicator that this guy, he can go out there, he can get things, he's proactive, and if he can do that, he can take care of me and so forth. So that was a big thing that I learned from Marnie Kinnery.
That's a good thing to learn. Let's talk about some top books that you'd recommend to change people's thinking in life, because you've read a lot, and what you read is good stuff. Let's cut to the chase and get some names.
Sure. So if you don't mind, I've broken it down to 4 sections. There's personal development, finance, health, and relationships. So I'll just quickly go through these ones. So the personal development stuff, Compound Effect by Darren Hardy once again. Strengths Finder 2.0 by Tom Rath. This is a very powerful book. The concept behind this is he did a lot of research, and he found that a lot of people tend to try and improve their weaknesses when they already have their existing strengths. So what you do is you just forget your weaknesses, just double down on your strengths. So find out what your strengths are and just keep doing it over and over again, and therefore they'll take you to the top. So the book Strengths Finder 2.0, you just do a quiz. It's about 40 minutes. It's multiple choice, and then you find out what your top 5 strengths are, and you just do it over and over again, and then they'll just take you to the top. So that's a very powerful book. 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. This guy's awesome. He owns his own private jet. He's big influence on Instagram and everything, and he teaches you how to think big, right? Because if you're thinking too small and you're going out there achieving your goals, it's not really self-fulfilling. But if you just increase the way you think, just think bigger, you tend to just go out there and achieve it. So the big thing I learned from him was the 4 degrees of action. One was there's different ways of taking action. There's taking no action. You're either retreating, you're taking normal levels of action, or you're taking massive action. And he said in order for him to earn his $500 million income is that he took massive action. So that was one thing I learned from him. Another one is Sun Tzu Art of War. This is a very crazy book. It's it's hard to understand. You probably have to go and get the summaries of it. I actually spent maybe a couple of years just trying to get all the concepts, but Sun Tzu Art of War is a very powerful book. It teaches you all about strategies, tactics, and a lot of military commanders are using this today, and a lot of entrepreneurs and CEOs are using it, and I've used it in the past. It's very powerful stuff, so that's really good. In terms of finance, there's also Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. That's a good one. Cash Flow 101 game by Robert Kiyosaki once again. Richest Man in Babylon. That's all about personal finance. That's a really good one. It's all about it's the way it's explained. It's like an analogy, and it's really easy to remember. It's all about personal finance, managing your finances, and of course all of Louise Bedford's books as well.
Let's talk about Louise's books.
Fantastic.
Louise's book. She's so prolific.
Yeah, she's great. I first came across her books when I was in the bookstore, and I just wanted to find another stream of income. So I was I was drawn to Louise's books, and I went through it, and I really liked the way how she explained the concepts of charting and candles as well, because a lot of books that they're very technical, and with Louise she explains it so well, where she's got like nice diagrams, and she's even got exercises, so when you finish reading a chapter you just fill in what you've learnt, and then you can see the answers according to those questions. So I took what I learned from her books, and then I applied it into my trading, and then I was able to earn some profits from there. I'm still working on the psychology part, because no one likes to lose money, but that's one thing that I'm trying to improve, is just psychology of that one. But all the technical stuff like the candlesticks, the support resistance, and the charting and everything, that's very powerful stuff. So that's
Khoa. Sorry to interrupt. Khoa, give us 3 key takeaway messages from your work so far and accruing wealth and investment portfolios.
I would say definitely to pick the thing that is you got to pick your big 3 goals first. Like, you have to sit down and figure out what is it that you really want to achieve, and you have to be crystal clear with what you want to achieve, and you put a metric to it. So in order to know that you've achieved that goal, then how do you know that you've achieved it through that metric? So it could be to earn X amount of properties, or X amount of capital in your trading account, whatever it is, just have a metric attached to it so you're very clear. Now, once you've got that goal, then work on figuring out your key vitals, and then put that into your weekly rhythm register, and then work on that every single day. So that's all you need to do. You don't need to worry about anything else, and then you just take action every single day, and then eventually you just start to accumulate. You accumulate the bank account, you start losing weight, you build your network, you build high traffic blog site, whatever it is. If you just repeat that process over and over again, you don't need to worry about anything. And I think that success is just all about just the simplicity, because as soon as you get to the end of your life, you just look back and realize how simple it was. It's just, oh my God, I should have just done this. That was all I needed to do, was just do this every single day, and I would have got that, instead of chasing after this thing and doing this thing, trying to make it complicated. It's actually very simple. So I think people disregard that one.
And last one?
And the last one is to always just focus on productivity. I think that you can learn all these great things in books. You can learn someone can give you the best knowledge, the best business model, the best systems, but if you don't know how to apply it, if you don't know how to manage your time and your energy in applying these things, you're not going to get anywhere. So learn how to be productive, learn how to increase your energy, challenge yourself, and also just try and build up your willpower as well. So that's one thing: productivity and the compound effect. Yeah.
Khoa, thanks for coming on to Talking Trading today. It was a pleasure to hear you speak. I hope you come back.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.